Hey friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Ken Smith, just an old guy having fun with trains. Today, I am at an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful location. This is Todd Pletcher's facility for Carolina train shows. Now, what's really fascinating about this is that Todd has a huge warehouse, and we are going to take a look inside, check it out. We're gonna have an opportunity to actually chat with Todd and see exactly how he got started, not only in model trains because he's a hobbyist as well, but also how he ended up developing the Carolina train show circuit and that whole side of the business. Plus, we're going to take a look inside his warehouse, and he has a warehouse that's open to the public so that you can come down and purchase trains. So without further ado, let's check it out. Oh, but first, let me tell you, you want to watch this whole video because we've got an extra surprise that we're going to show. So let's check it out. All right, so we're getting ready to walk in to warehouse number 1. And this is where all of the things begin to happen. So we're going to take a quick scan through. Todd will talk in more detail about what he actually does, but let's check it out. Now this is the testing track, so all locomotives get tested as they come in. Todd will further explain, but as collections come in, this is actually how they come in, and they're loaded up on these pallets, and they're sorted through, and then they hit designated shelves where items are either bought and purchased outright, or they're sold on eBay, or they're sold on kind of a consignment basis. So these are collections right here that have come in that obviously have to go through and designate what the next step is for them. And as you can see, there's just tons of stuff here. Multiple scales. And so this is kind of that whole area as collections come in and they're getting sorted, finding out that next step, how they're going to move down the line and being sold. Nice. See a lot of Athearn Blue Box, as well as some old school MDC. Obviously Lionel. And it takes quite a bit of time to go through these collections, as you can imagine. A lot of hidden gems here. Now, items over here are generally on eBay already, and so those listings have a specific code. You'll see that code right here. And so when an item sells, that code represents where it's located as far as the bin and the shelf. And so it makes it easy to pick it, pull it, and then there's all your shipping material right there. So that's kind of a high-level overview of Warehouse 1. We're going to go ahead and take a stroll into Warehouse 2. Alrighty, getting ready to take a stroll in here. Now we'll take a walk back here first, because this is what Todd generally will bring to a show. And as I mentioned earlier, Todd runs his own shows, but he also attends shows as well that are not his. And this is generally what he'll do, is stage what he's bringing to a show, puts these all in totes, and then brings those, loads those totes up in a truck, brings them to a show. And you'll hear Todd talk about this a little bit later, but a lot of what he brings to a show depends on, obviously, demographics as well as the market for that particular area. So what might sell really well in one market obviously is not going to sell well in another. So Todd does a lot of research and brings to the show what is generally going to do well at that location. This area inside the warehouse is what Todd calls his retail area. This is where product can be purchased outright. And if you look around like I did, you'll find some great deals here. I'll show you a little later on in the video what I set aside, because you know that modeling the 1890s is like, you know, the redheaded stepchild. But really has some really great prices on stuff. I mean, okay, here, we'll just pull one off the shelf just for grunts. Here's an AHM baggage car, $8 in the box. Where are you gonna go and get a vintage car like that for $8? Okay. This MDC little Overton car with kitty couplers, and it's also weighted down properly. I can feel the weight in this. This is $6 with the box. Where are you going to go and get that? There's just some really great deals here. There's a gentleman here that is shopping for European TT, and he's finding stuff here. So there is just a tremendous amount that can be had here. Another test track in this room, so you don't have to go to the other room to test out locomotives. Again, you can see some Lionel and N-scale and HO. Here's that European stuff that he's already going through, and he stepped out to take a break, give his eyes a rest. You've got great deals on buildings. I mean, buildings here for $3. Where are you going to go and buy a building for $3? These buildings for $5. A little better buildings for $10. Again, $5 buildings. Spend more time and money on paint. Nice collection of lanterns. There's some vintage American flyers, so you can see everything. And obviously, we've got our store hours and our upcoming shows. LGB. Here we've got some boxed and unboxed kits. Very nice. Todd set this up so that you can literally come down here and take a break while you're looking at trains, because there's two massive warehouses. And also, this is a place where the wife, if you bring your wife down, she can sit down, have a picnic lunch, or you know, have a soft drink or whatnot. So there's also, in those totes over there, there's also bird feed. So if you want to feed the bird, or if your wife is sitting here and on a day like today where it's absolutely just beautiful and she wants to feed the birds, there's bird feed sitting right over there. So just a wonderful option to enjoy your day shopping for trains. Todd, you have a remarkable story behind how this all came to be.
Right.
Share it with us.
So I grew up in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Railroad town.
Railroad town, horseshoe curve, everything like that. And my mom worked in the cafeteria, you know, and my dad was a machinist with a company called SKF, and they did ball bearings. And what we did in the evenings, and we traveled on the weekends to Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, New Jersey, Ohio, doing train shows. So back in the 80s, which is what I call the boom of trains, when everyone was buying trains, we bought in from a couple manufacturers, and we mainly did Williams.
Okay.
And we would travel around and do the train shows, and we got quite the following. And we did, every time a new Lionel book would come out, I'd sit there at the typewriter, that's how long ago it was back in the 80s,
right, and
typed up a price list and everything, and then we handed them out. And we just started doing the train shows. And you know, as I started going through college, when I moved down here to South Carolina, you know, every weekend within a 2-hour radius of Altoona, you could go to, you know, anywhere from 1 to 3 shows.
Sure.
I get down to South Carolina, and there's only like 3 or 4 shows a year.
A year, right.
And
there's 1 show a year by me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I know I was shocked too.
Yeah.
Moving from Chicago, and then I lived in Denver, and same thing. There was tons of train shows in the Colorado region, because obviously narrow gauge and stuff like that. But yeah, when I moved out here, I'm like, so where are the train shows?
And there was hardly any parts dealers, like O-gauge parts dealers. So I called up Train Tender in New Jersey, very well known, Jeff Kane, retired school teacher. Like, you know, I was a elementary school principal, retired from that, and wanted something else to keep me busy. So I ended up buying $200 worth of train parts, and I didn't know if they'd sell. We never sold train parts in Pennsylvania, and did really well at the Easley, South Carolina show. And then from there, with the lack of train shows, I just started running my own shows, and you know, I'd start, you know, 2 a year, and then now we're running 10 to 12 train shows a year in South Carolina, North Carolina, and we're looking at some places in Georgia to start some train shows. And a lot of it is just you know, spreading the hobby and fellowship, and just, you know, getting out and having a good time.
Sure. So you started doing, when was your first train show?
2015.
Okay, so you've been doing this now for a decade.
Yep.
And you obviously didn't start with all of this product. How did it all come to be?
Found a collection, and bought a collection, and then bought a second one, then bought a third one, and we moved to our new house and everything. And then when I started accumulating so much stuff, so I had to back my car out of the garage, and then I filled up my spot. But then when it impeded onto my wife's collection, that drew the line. Then we ended up with what we're in now as Warehouse 1. And then what quickly happened is, right when I went to retire, Warehouse 1 was overloaded. You couldn't get down any of the aisles. So then we ended up with Warehouse number 2. So, you know, as my wife says, there better not be a Warehouse 3. So we're keeping it at 2. But, you know, on a typical day, people come in. The process that we have is the person calls me up, or they'll see it on the website, or their vendor's wife that, you know, the guy passed away, or word of mouth is, you know, referrals is real big, because, you know, if you treat people good, it'll come back to you.
Sure.
So they call us up or email us, and then we give them a date and time that works for them. They bring it, and we unload it. We put it in Warehouse number 2, and then we process the collection from beginning to end. Anything that's motorized units is tested right there, accessories, engines, you know, cars. And then we decide if it's going to go on eBay, if it's going to go on our website, thecarolinatrainshows.com, if it'll come here in our store to be sold, or if it'll go to train shows. So there's 4 different ways, but what we do is a lot of our collections are on consignment, so we want to get the most amount of money that we possibly can. So we decide right then and there. And then what we do is, after we process it, then they start getting a monthly check. It's like a retirement check. You just get that extra income until the collection's sold. And then on the last check that they get, I just give them a call up, thank them for, you know, entrusting us with their collection. This is your last payment and everything. And, you know, it works out great. You know, it's 65% that they get if they bring it to us. It's 50% if we have to go out and travel with it.
And you actually have your oldest son picking up 2 collections today in Georgia, as a matter of fact. So
yeah, he's in Evans, Georgia today, and then he's up the road right down from Simpsonville, South Carolina. So when we find enough to fill a van, and they, you know, a lot of our people are elderly, they can't get out, or they're widowed, and they have too much stuff. And you know, we just go and we schedule it and pick it up and everything.
So you also are open as a retail store, if you will, a couple of days a week.
Yeah, we open up for friends and everything. We'll open up, and a lot of people that will buy stuff that's not aware of us, or they see something on eBay that they want, they'll come and pick it up, and they'll just shop around with whatever we have for sale and everything.
Right. And then the hook is planted, and guys like me just end up walking out with all of that.
It's dangerous. When I get to know someone and what they're looking for, I go right back over to the warehouse, and in collections that I spot check, I just pull it out.
Unfortunately, our video camera shut down unexpectedly during the last portion of what Todd was getting ready to talk about, and something he's very passionate about, and that's trains for kids. And so when you go to his website, there's a specific link that you can link onto. But what Todd does, and he works in conjunction with other hobby shops and other retailers and other people who make donations, no child who comes to his train show leaves without a train set. And so there's obviously some qualifications and qualifiers for that. And you can find out all that additional information on his website. But essentially, if a child would like to have a train, and the parents are in a place where they may not be able to purchase a train set, Todd will provide absolutely free of charge either an HO or O scale, depending on you know, size and availability for the children, a locomotive, 3 freight cars, a oval of track, so a complete circle, and I believe 4 straight pieces of track, and a power supply. So they get a locomotive, 3 freight cars, an oval, and a power supply, absolutely free. And so I've never heard of another train show sponsor or train show organization do something like that. So it's a wonderful thing, and I'm so fascinated to see that and know that. And Todd really was very passionate about it, wanted to share it. So I included it with me just chatting, but go to his website, check that out. And here it is. We're going to move up close and personal, but everything that you see here, I got at an amazing deal. And I want to tell you, I paid what you would pay for all of this. I got no special pricing. None of this stuff was given to me. I paid what he sells it for. So I bought a brand new, this was in the box, sealed. I opened the box up, it was taped, it didn't have a seal over it, but it was taped. And I did cut the tape open just to open it up. Everything was wrapped up and shrink wrapped and sealed. At first I thought it was a 3-stall roundhouse, $30, and I'm like, well, that's a pretty good deal. I'm not going to complain about that. And but then I moved up a little bit closer, and it says 2 extra stalls. So I had to open up the box because I've not seen this one before. I've just seen plenty of these on eBay. And when I open it up, sure as all get out, it is a 5-stall, doors, windows, everything. And I did a short on that just recently, and you can kind of see where I've been working on it. But excellent kit. I got a boatload of Katie couplers with draft gearboxes, okay? This is an old Campbell kit. Now things are a little bit dirty and dusty, but they came off of a layout. And Todd has essentially, for any used buildings, he essentially has 3 prices, okay? And again, general store, and things are a little dusty. I'll probably have to clean things up, but that's okay. Where they're going to go, it's not going to matter an awful lot. And the nice thing about it is that this just saved me a ton of work. I used to work for Sears, so when I saw this, I'm like, I got to have it. Yeah. And so, again, this really fits the theme of my one Western town. And these are really, really nice buildings. Now, obviously, the phone booth has to come off of this, but still, great little kit. And then there's 4 more houses. And again, just some really, really nice detail. A lot of these buildings, some of them had lights. It didn't really matter to me because I'm not going to put in lights, but a lot of these buildings appear to be scratch built. The one corner building that I showed you right there, that I know for a fact is an old Campbell kit. Not sure about the other buildings. This engine shed, 2-stall engine shed, had a place that I needed to put one, and this fit the bill. And the only thing that I did, and yep, I did it after the fact, is I removed these just because of where the location is. I actually want to back the locomotives in so that they're kind of sort of sticking out. And then this, yeah, I know it's a pier, okay, but I got to tell you, I'm going to do a little bit of work with this, and my goal is to kind of remove these guys here and kind of make this a ice loading platform for a lot of the reefers that I've got. I've got a nice collection of reefers that I just wanted to stick on out. And so, like I said, Todd has 3 basic prices, okay, for buildings. $3, $5, $10. And that's it. That's what he sells them for. $3, $5, $10. And in most cases, I can't buy doors and windows for that price. And this just saves me a ton of time. I literally filled up an entire town with the kits that I built, along with the kits that I just picked up. Everything that you see here cost me $122. And that, I've got no complaints. I think I did pretty well. I mean, there's a total of 16 buildings there. You do the math. That's a bargain. Plus that stack of KD couplers. So winner, winner, chicken dinner. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that. Have a wonderful day, and you all be blessed.